Right, the Penske is a PC16, which was originally designed in 1986 to run in 1987. At the same time, Roger had been to Chevrolet and managed to hire the services of Ilmore to build the Chev Indy engine, because Chevrolet were getting a bit teed off because Ford were winning everything with the Ford Cosworth engine at Indianapolis, and whilst it might have been winning in Formula One, it wasn't influencing much in America. But when Cosworth produced the Indycar engine, Chevrolet decided they'd better get competitive, bought the services of Ilmore, and they designed the Chev Indy engine. The unfortunate thing at the time was that not only was Penske trying to develop a new chassis for Penske racing, but was also developing the engine. So during that development period, they weren't sure whether it was the chassis that wasn't working properly or whether it was the engine that wasn't working properly. And therefore they didn't have a great deal of success, although they did get a couple of second places during 1987. They turned up with a full team, and the car that you see here is in the Indianapolis livery that Rick Mears drove the car there. But Penske then dropped the development of the PC16 and went back to racing marches for the balance of the year while they sorted out the engine problems. They then hired a new designer who largely copied the PC16 with the PC17, which then became the all-conquering car for Penske in the following year. It uses many of the components off the PC16, but now they had the engine reliability, they had the electronics and the injection system sorted out, and the cars were invincible. I think Penske had the first 3 or 4 places on the grid at Indianapolis with the PC17 and won, but there's very little difference in the actual chassis between the 16 and the 17. It's just that they'd sorted out the engine problems and then the few chassis problems that they might have had. So the PC16 was actually a real development car and set new standards for Indianapolis and for IndyCar racing. I was very fortunate to get the car. The car was originally sold to Pennzoil out here. Penrite from Pennzoil, and when they got the car, it didn't have an engine, and they complained to Penske that it didn't have an engine, and Penske sent out a newly overhauled engine, which we weren't sure about the condition of, so we had Team VDS in America build us a completely new Indy engine, and then discovered that the one we got with the car had in fact been rebuilt, but of course it hadn't been run for quite a few years either. So, but the engine that's in it is a genuine 750 horsepower brand new engine. And the car's been extensively rebuilt here, but plus because it didn't have a very long racing history in America, the car for its age is in extraordinarily good condition, and it's probably a real collector's item, and be an awful lot of fun to drive. I think I can't get in it, of course, but that's a bit of a problem these days.